A no boundary motherfucker. Ooh, they toxic. They are toxic. Alright, hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Miss Schmo. So today I'm going to be talking about like toxic traits. In the past couple of videos, I've just been talking about just like uplifting the importance of just like self-love and loving yourself. But I think it's also important to highlight, like, although you can be like, I love myself, and just are constantly going on a journey of like a positive transformation. Life be lifing, and you're gonna come across people that just suck ass. They just like it gets to the point where it almost feels as if their whole existence is to just destroy other people's happiness. So I'm not necessarily going to provide tips on like how to, block those type of people, but just be aware that they are going to exist, and you're going to have to interact with them in your space. I'm not wishing that upon you, but it may happen to you at some point in your life. But so with the purpose of this video, what I'm just talking about is just identifying those types of people, because sometimes you can just like be just going through life and you might have people in your circle that have been in your circle for a while now, but as you're going on this, again, positive transformation of just like self-growth and self-love, you may not really see that there may be people in your circle that are just toxic as shit. And so what I'm just going to do quickly in this video is just quickly just quickly name the types of toxic things that, or characteristics that people can take on or have that can really, impact how you go about your self-love journey. And by understanding these types of people, you can hopefully prepare yourself in a way to just, diverge or just move away from them in some shape or form. So I just quickly jotted down like 4 toxic traits that someone will have that can just kind of like may knock you off a little bit from your like self-love journey. Woo, where are my words? Okay, so the first toxic trait is, and I feel like we already know all these things, but just like, let's just reiterate it. And let's reiterate it as we're in a new space of just, again, self-love, self-growth, and just a positive transformation. So you have the people that are unwilling to own up to their shit. These are the people that are unwilling to own up to them being lazy, unwilling to own up to them. Ooh. What is going on? Okay, see, this is the problem with using natural light. It's beautiful, but the inconsistency. Okay, so back to what I was saying. And apologize for the noise. If you all do hear it, I don't think y'all will, but if y'all do, it's just loud outside. So again, the unwilling to own up to their own shit. Like, these are the type of people that don't want to admit that they are lazy. They don't want to admit, and the biggest one is that they don't want to admit when they are wrong. And yeah, it's like people like that are just unwilling to just say, I am wrong. Or people that are unwilling to say that, I was being lazy and that's why I didn't do such and such. Those type of people the toxicity of them is so strong. Like, it's just like they just live in this world where like they don't have any responsibilities. And that's toxic on a whole nother level, because if you move in a world where you have no responsibilities, like you kind of reckless. And so being around being around people like that just like they just don't own up to their shit, what that lets me know again is that like they move in the world where they feel like they have no responsibility and are therefore reckless and will be reckless with my shit. And in particular, or in regards to like self-love and self-growth, I just feel like those types of individuals, they'll just be reckless with my feelings, reckless in the way that they communicate with me, reckless in just how they handle some of my things. Like, no. Stay away. Go. So, yeah. So that's the first one. That's a toxic trait to be mindful of and to steer clear of are the types of people that don't like to own up to their shit. Number 2 is the people that are so quick to share what they lack. And an example I want to give is just, it's not going to be a real specific example, but it's just like, let's say that you're talking with someone and like you're talking about something positive that's going on in your life, and somebody else is talking about something positive that's going on in their life, and then you have the other person that's just like, nope, nothing good is going on in my life. Actually, everything sucks and da 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 da. Like, I understand that everybody goes through something. And sometimes when you're going through something, most times when you're going through something, it's difficult to see the positive and to just kind of see like the light from the window in that darkness. I get it and I understand it. But when I say a fucking buzzkill, and it's just because like the positive things that are going on in somebody else's life, even though those positive things can seem really big, and therefore you may have something that's positive going on in your life and you don't want to, and because it's not as big, you downplay it, or you just strictly go to the negative stuff that's going on in your life. Just like, kind of like, don't compare. Like, and those people that are so fucking focused on like constantly comparing to the point where they never see anything good in their life, or they never are joyous about the good things in their life, even if it's small. Like, it may seem small to me, but it's a big thing to you. And so even if it's small, it's like those types of people that don't know how to just celebrate even the smallest things, they are just fucking toxic and they are draining. It's like you can't be happy around them, because they're just going to come and whatever positive thing you got going on, they're going to make something. They're not even going to make it, but they're just going to like bring a negative thing so that just cancels out your positive. And it's like, and I just use myself as an example. It's like, I'm not sharing these positive things to necessarily brag. I'm just letting you know what is going on in my life. And if you know that you're the type of person that's not very braggadocious, you are just sharing, giving a life update, and you have somebody in your circle or like at work, in your family, what was that? I'm going to have to fight. But if you have somebody that like, you can't even be joyous around them, because they just gonna come with just like, yeah, my job, it just sucks. Like, I just hate my job. And it's like, And yeah, you talking about how like you just got a promotion at work. It's like, is this the time or the place for you to just like cancel out that positive or just all your negativity? Like, why are you doing this? Are you doing this because you want the attention? If you want the attention, okay, let's designate a time and a place so that we can focus on you. But in this moment, bitch, don't kill my vibe. Like, just like, if you see that somebody is sharing something positive, congratulate them. But, and if you want to share something positive that's going on with you, then share it. But don't use that opportunity to be so negative that the person the person that's sharing this positive thing with you, this positive life update with you, don't be so negative that they don't even want to come to you anymore. Like, it's just, no. Just no. And I don't know if that's like a learned trait. I think it is a learned trait, but there might be some like deep-rooted issues as to why the person just feels the need to do that. But for you, as you're going on your positive transformation and as you're going on your journey of self-love and self-growth and self-healing, if you can avoid being around people like that or not even entertaining that type of atmosphere, then I highly encourage you to, again, move away and kind of even distance yourself from people like that, because, again, they can be so draining. Like, life is going to It's going to do what it do. It's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. And if there's somebody that is around you or in your circle that is so fucking, they enjoy just being in the down space, while you're just, even though you've been in down spaces and you don't want to be there and you're trying to climb your way out, if you have somebody in your circle that likes to be in that down space, but you are literally trying to climb your way out and get to that upper positive space, like, again, it's just better to distance yourself, because you don't need and you don't want that type of energy around you, because it's just gonna it's gonna mess with your journey. Like, again, and as I mentioned in other videos, going on a self-love journey is not an easy thing to do. And you need all the tools around you in order to really, you need all the good tools around you in order to really change your life and change it to the person that you really want to be. And if you have somebody in your circle that is constantly just like a reminder of where you don't want to be, then again, it's just better to distance yourself from that person. I know I was stuck on that one for a while, but it just reminded me of somebody, and it's like, I don't have it all figured out, and I'm going through stuff too, but I need some good spirits around me to help me, to uplift me in my time of need. I don't need to be down and sad and like constantly in that state. No, thank you. No, thank you. The third one is, and this is so common in the African American community. I think it's common everywhere, but being that I'm a melanated woman and I hang around with a lot of melanated people, I feel like I hear it a lot. So one thing is, the third thing is being uppity, being bougie, being of the bourgeois class, the uppity accusation. When someone is quick to call you uppity, to me, I see that as a toxic trait. Because when someone calls you uppity or bougie, they are trying to highlight how basically you are achieving something, or you are going to a place where they want to be but failed to get there, or failed to make any attempts. Again, failed to make any attempts. Like, they're not even trying. They just trying to be settled into where they at. But they failed to make any attempts to get to where you're trying to be. And that is just basically to change your life. Because as soon as you start to change your life, and you, again, try to get out of that fucking mud that the person that you're with, or that you hang out with, they just kind of like being there. As soon as you try to do that, they gonna call you, man, you being uppity, you changing, you doing this, you doing that, you think you better. You think you better. How do you know what I think? You don't know. You don't know what I think. I don't think I'm better. And it's not about being better. I just think that I don't want to be where we once were. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that I don't go back to where we once were. If you want to be over there, fine. But don't come to me basically calling me names. I mean, being called uppity and bougie is not like, it's not, I don't think it's equivalent to somebody calling you a fuckboy or a bitch, but it does have a little sting to it, because again, it's making this accusation that you think you're better than someone. And it's like, I don't think I'm better than anyone. I'm just trying to improve my life. And so when you have people, again, in your circle that are very quick to say, oh, you being uppity, you being bougie, you doing this, you doing that, or say some type of phrase or word that indicates that you think that you're better than them, they toxic. They are so toxic, because if they don't understand the amount of grind that you're putting in, and instead of trying to understand it, they just trying to call you names and make you feel bad about trying to change, they toxic. They toxic as shit. Those are, like, just being around like a lot of black people and hearing that when somebody is just like, they just do something a little different. Oh, you being uppity. Or if they decide to just enunciate, you know, they want to just speak as clearly as possible. Oh, you being uppity, you talking white, you doing this, you doing that. And it's like, no, I just want you to understand what I'm saying. And if I continue to talk with my southern drawl, or if I continue to speak like I'm just back in the neighborhood, yeah, that don't help me when I'm out of those environments. So I'm speaking a little differently, because the way that I used to speak, and I'm just using speaking as an example, but the way that I used to speak, it was hard for people to understand what I was saying when I got into these new environments. So I modified the way that I spoke so that I can clearly communicate in these new environments. And yet when you come back home, or come back to wherever, you know, environment that you used to be in, where you could just talk, you know, any old how, now they're making it seem as if like you change and you doing this and you doing that because of this. Like, just you just changing and you just being all uppity. And it's like, I'm not being uppity. And what's wrong with me changing? Especially if I'm changing into something that is better. I'm not changing into an asshole. I'm just changing to be a better version of myself. And so, yeah, like people like that uppity bougie thing. Nah, when I hear that, I hear a toxic person. I hear somebody whose life is so fucked up, or whose situation is so fucked up, that even if somebody is changing into something better, and that person may even know that the way that person is changing is good for them, even if that person is changing, they're going to still make them feel bad about changing their life. That's a toxic person to me. Again, these are just what I feel are toxic traits. Y'all may have your own experience with people that act like this, but also people that act like a whole nother fucking level of toxic. So fourth and final thing, because I'm getting hungry, so I want to go. So my fourth and final thing is the person who doesn't have any boundaries. A no boundary motherfucker. Ooh, they toxic. They are toxic because, again, it kind of goes back to the first one of like not owning your shit. So, and I said that they kind of are related is because when someone has no boundaries, they just messy. Like if it in regards to boundaries with like keeping a secret, in regards to boundaries of like walking in your house, like in regards to boundaries of just like being in your space, like touching you. I feel like those people are toxic because, again, they just don't know where to be respectful. They just feel like they can just do whatever they want to do. And to me, that it's just toxic. Like you don't respect others around you to the point where you're not even gonna, control or contain yourself. You're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. And I just don't care if it hurts anybody's feelings or if it makes anybody feel uncomfortable or whatever. I'm just going to do it. And I just feel like that's just so toxic. Like, on a self-love journey, I don't think I really said it before, but I feel like other people have kind of, when they talk about self-love, I feel like they've mentioned it about creating boundaries. Like one thing that is often mentioned is just like being comfortable with saying the word no and sticking with it. No is a boundary word. With people without any boundaries, no can be seen as an insult. And it's like, how can something that I'm trying to use to protect my space and protect my feelings, how can that be considered an insult to you? And so again, I say that people who lack boundaries, they just be doing too much. Like, I just feel like they don't have enough respect for you and everything that you have going on. And because they don't have enough respect for you to have boundaries, that they should not be, like, you need to distance yourself from them, because they just disrespectful. They're just disrespectful. And you are trying to be in a space of just respect. More importantly, respecting yourself. And if those people don't even have enough respect for themselves, then they're not even going to give a shit about you. And that is not anything that you want in your life when you are trying to, again, love yourself and engage in just a beautiful self-growth. You don't need anybody around you that don't even know how to respect themselves and respect others around you. I mean, and respect others. So, yeah, those are my 4 things as to, like, 4 toxic traits to just basically be on the lookout for, and just try to avoid as much as possible. And those are the people that don't own up to their own shit. You have the people that are quick to state what they lack. or what they are without. You have the people that are so quick to accuse you of being uppity or bougie or thinking that you're better than them. And then the fourth toxic trait is you have those people that don't have no motherfucking boundaries. Those are, in my opinion, those are our four toxic traits that you need to just steer clear of as much as possible. Because they're just not, it's not healthy. It's just like, no, I'm not trying to be sad all the time. Like, no, I'm not trying to be belittled because I want better for myself. Like, no, you don't need that in your life, boo. You don't need it in your life, boo. So yeah, but that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you next time.